The invasion begins in the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars burned like eternal forges and galaxies swirled in silent majesty. The Zorathian Empire reigned supreme. For millennia, they had conquered worlds, subjugating lesser species with their superior technology and unyielding martial prowess. Their warriors, clad in iridescent armor forged from neutron star remnants, wielded plasma lances that could vaporize mountains. At the helm of this juggernaut was Commander Vex'kar, a towering figure with chitinous exoskeleton glistening under the artificial lights of his flagship. The dread sovereign, Vex'kar had led 100 campaigns, each ending in swift victory. His mandibles clicked with anticipation as the fleet approached the Sol system. Intelligence reports described the dominant species, humans, as primitive bipeds. Squabbling over a single blue planet called Earth, they possessed rudimentary space travel, nuclear weapons that paled against Zorathian shields, and a history riddled with internal conflicts. "This will be a mere formality," Vex'kar hissed to his bridge crew, his compound eyes reflecting the holographic display of Earth's continents. "We shall harvest their resources, enslave their workforce, and move on to greater glories." The invasion commenced at dawn over the Pacific Ocean. Zorathian dropships pierced the atmosphere like meteors, deploying legions of warriors onto key strategic points: New York, Beijing, Moscow, and the heart of the Amazon rainforest. Vex'kar himself led the assault on what humans called the United States, targeting Washington, D.C. as a symbol of their fragile governance. From orbit, the scene was poetic in its destruction. Human military scrambled jets and missiles, but Zorathian interceptors shredded them midair. Ground forces met armored divisions, only for plasma barrages to melt tanks into slag. Vex'kar landed amid the ruins of the Capitol building, his boots crunching on marble debris. "Surrender, primitives," he broadcasted through translators, his voice booming across frequencies. "Your resistance is futile." But then something unexpected happened. Amid the smoke and chaos, a lone human soldier emerged from the wreckage. He was unarmored, clad in tattered fatigues, wielding what appeared to be a primitive kinetic rifle. Vex'kar laughed, a guttural, echoing sound, as his warriors advanced. The human fired, bullets ricocheting off shields harmlessly, yet he didn't flee. He reloaded, advanced, and fired again. "Pathetic," Vex'kar muttered, raising his lance. A single shot vaporized the soldier, but as the body fell, more humans poured from hidden bunkers, alleys, and even civilian buildings. They came not in organized phalanxes, but in waves of desperation and fury. Improvised explosives detonated under Zorothian hover tanks, guerrilla fighters sniped from rooftops, and even children hurled Molotov cocktails. Vex'kar's initial amusement turned to mild irritation. Casualties were minimal, but the humans' refusal to break was anomalous. In past conquests, species capitulated after the first display of power. These humans fought on, even as limbs were severed and blood soaked the earth by nightfall. The Zorathians held the city, but at a cost. Supply lines stretched thin, warriors exhausted from constant skirmishes. Vex'kar retired to his command tent, reviewing holovids. One clip showed a human female, trapped under rubble, still clawing her way free to throw a grenade. What drives them? He pondered, his mandibles twitching. Little did he know, this was just the beginning. As the days turned to weeks, the invasion bogged down. Humans adapted with terrifying speed. They reverse-engineered captured Zorothian tech, jury-rigging it into their own weapons. Hackers infiltrated communication networks, sowing confusion. Underground resistance networks formed, coordinating strikes that chipped away at the Empire's might. Vex'kar led a raid on a human stronghold in the Appalachian Mountains. Expecting easy prey, his forces were ambushed in narrow passes. Humans used the terrain masterfully: avalanches triggered by explosives, sniper fire from impossible angles. One Zorathian warrior, separated from his unit, was cornered by a group of farmers armed with shotguns and pitchforks. He activated his distress beacon, but by the time reinforcements arrived, the humans had dismantled his armor piece by piece, studying it like curious predators. "These are not warriors," Vex'kar reported to the High Council via quantum link. They are survivors. Every one of them fights as if the galaxy depends on it. The Council dismissed his concerns. Press on, Commander. Break their spirit. But Vex'kar felt a stirring doubt. In the quiet hours, he studied human history downloaded from their networks. Tales of wars where outnumbered forces triumphed through sheer will thermopylae. Stalingrad, Vietnam. Humans didn't just fight. They endured, innovated, and turned defeat into legend. One evening, the Zorathian ships bombarded a coastal city. A human vessel, a rusted submarine from a bygone era, surfaced undetected. It launched nuclear-tipped torpedoes, crippling a cruiser. The explosion lit the horizon, and from the shores, humans cheered. Vex'kar watched from afar, his exoskeleton prickling. For the first time, he felt not superiority, but a whisper of fear. The invasion dragged on. Zorathian reinforcements arrived, but so did human alliances. Nations that once warred united against the common foe. Scientists worked around the clock, developing countermeasures, electromagnetic pulses that disrupted shields, biological agents tailored to Zorothian physiology. Vex'kar encountered his first true human adversary in the ruins of Chicago. Captain Elena Ramirez, a battle-hardened Marine, led a counteroffensive. She was small compared to him, but her eyes burned with unquenchable fire. Their forces clashed in the streets, plasma versus bullets, claws versus bayonets. In a pivotal moment, Vex'kar cornered Ramirez in a collapsed skyscraper. "Yield human," he demanded, lance humming. She spat blood, smiling. "We don't yield, we adapt. We overcome." With a hidden explosive, she brought the building down on them both. Vex'kar survived, buried under tons of concrete, his armor cracked. As rescuers dug him out, he realized humans weren't just fighting for survival. They were fighting for each other, for ideals. For a future they refused to let aliens steal. The turning tide months, into the invasion. The Zorathian Empire's facade of invincibility began to crack. Vex'kar, once the epitome of Zorothian arrogance, now bore scars from human ingenuity. His left antenna was severed in a close-quarters brawl with a human engineer who wielded a welding torch like a sword. The High Council demanded results, but Vex'kar's reports grew increasingly dire. "We underestimated their adaptability," he transmitted during a secure council. "They learned from every defeat, turning our technology against us." Indeed, human scientists had cracked Zorathian energy shields. Using captured samples, they developed disruptor rounds, bullets coated in a nanoscale alloy that pierced defenses. In the deserts of the Middle East, Zorathian legions faced Bedouin warriors on camelback. Firing these new weapons with deadly accuracy, the aliens' hovercrafts plummeted. Engines fried by improvised EMP devices fashioned from car batteries and scrap metal. Vex'kar led a personal expedition to destroy a human research facility in the Swiss Alps. The journey was perilous. Avalanches, triggered by human demolition teams, buried entire squads. When they breached the lab, they found it empty. A trap. Hidden charges detonated, collapsing the mountain. Vex'kar escaped by sheer luck, but lost half his elite guard. Emerging from the snow, he witnessed a sight that haunted him. Human rescuers, not soldiers, digging through the rubble. They saved their own, but also pulled a wounded Zorathian from the debris. Instead of executing him, they interrogated him humanely, offering medical aid. Why? Vex'kar later asked the prisoner upon his return. They said, "Knowledge is power, but mercy builds alliances," the warrior replied. Confused, this human concept, mercy amid war, baffled Vex'kar. Zorathians conquered without quarter, yet humans extended hands even to enemies, turning some captured warriors into defectors who shared secrets. As the war escalated, space became the new battlefield. Humans launched salvaged Zorathian shuttles, retrofitted with nuclear warheads. The dread Sovereign took hits, its hull breached. Vex'kar commanded from the bridge as human astronauts, civilians trained in weak sported the ship. They fought in zero gravity, using magnetic boots and improvised weapons. Fire extinguishers as clubs, wiring as garrots. One human, former mechanic named Jamal, faced Vex'kar in the corridors. You think you're gods? Jamal growled, dodging a plasma blast. But we're the ones who built empires from dirt. Vex'kar struck, his claws raking armor. But Jamal countered with a jury-rigged taser, stunning the commander. As reinforcements arrived, Jamal escaped. But not before sabotaging life support. Repairs took days, during which Vex'kar reflected. Humans didn't have a hive mind like some species. They were individuals, chaotic, yet that chaos bred innovation. Their internet connected billions, sharing tactics in real time. Memes, humorous images boosted morale, turning fear into defiance. In Africa, Zorathians faced tribal warriors who blended ancient rituals with modern tech. Poisoned arrows tipped with Zorothian nanites pierced armor. In Asia, factory workers mass-produced drones that swarmed like locusts. Overwhelming sensors, Vex'kar's breaking point came in the Battle of the Himalayas. Leading a massive assault on a human fortress, he expected victory. But humans had fortified with ice walls and geothermal traps. As blizzards raged, Zorathians froze, their suits failing. Humans bundled in furs, pressed on, singing battle hymns pinned down. Vex'kar watched a human child no more than 10 cycles drag a wounded comrade to safety under fire. The child's determination mirrored the species, relentless. Unbreakable by the battle's end, Vex'kar's forces retreated, leaving thousands dead. He realized the truth. Humans' power lay in their refusal to quit. They fought not for glory, but for home, family. Freedom concepts Zorathians had long forgotten. The Revelation negotiations convened on neutral ground, a Zorathian outpost on the moon, retrofitted for human delegates. Vex'kar faced a delegation led by General Marcus Hale, a grizzled veteran with scars from every continent. "You've cost us dearly," Hale said, his voice steady. "But we've cost you more." Vex'kar inclined his head. "Your species. You defy logic. We came as conquerors, yet you stand unbowed." Hale chuckled. "That's humanity for you. We bicker, we fall, but threaten our world. We unite like nothing else." As talks progressed, Vex'kar learned more. Humans had suffered pandemics, wars, disasters, each forging resilience. Their relentless power was endurance, evolving through adversity. A turning point came when a human diplomat shared stories. "Remember Hiroshima? We rebuilt. Chernobyl? We learned. Now your invasion? We'll emerge stronger." Vex'kar shared his own tales, admitting awe. "In my campaigns, species broke. You thrive on challenge." The treaty was signed, Zorathians withdrew, trading tech for peace. Vex'kar returned home a changed warrior, advocating reform. "Humans taught me, true strength is not domination, but perseverance." Years later, as alliances formed, Vex'kar visited Earth, walking among humans. He saw their chaos as beauty, the relentless spirit that stunned an empire. The war ended not with annihilation, but mutual respect. Humanity's power? Unyielding will, turning invaders into allies.